Hello, everybody. I wanted to take a moment and introduce my 100 games. This is for the end of 2014, and just some ground rules. These aren't the 100 best games of all time. These are my 100. These are all special to me in some way, and so for part of the rules for being in this 100 is I have to have it in my collection right now. At the end of 2014, I figure either it's providence or fate or whatever you might believe that I have these games on hand and that I've kept them. If I've traded it away, it's obviously not that important to me, or the game hasn't been important enough for me to go out and find it and get it and then keep it. And then two, it makes for good TV to show you something. This is a no budget show, and so in order to get through these, and so we're going to do these quickly in increments of 10, and obviously inspired by, this is all inspired by Dice Tower, but really for me, hearing about games that people value help me make not only just decisions about what to play, but gives me just sort of an insight as to just people's tastes and just who they are. And so I didn't think I would enjoy hearing about people's lists as much as I have. So I hope you enjoy these over these next few videos as we put these all together. So now we're 100. I'm just going to start sliding these in here. This is a Kickstarter game produced by Duncan Davis called Into the Cities. It's actually a large drafting game where it's pretty simple. You have a leader, you're acquiring stats, and you're getting victory points by holding on to characters as you draft them into your court. It's interesting because it does sort of the entire pool dynamic. Sometimes some Magic drafts have used this where you take the whole pack, one pack at a time, you put it out, and everyone sees the entire contents of the pack, and you draft it that way. This sort of expands on that theme, and really that theme has interested me for a while. And this game is not a bad attempt at implementing such a drafting game. Not passing hands, but everybody gets to see all the cards all the time at once, and they can do some manipulation with that. Into the Cities, number 100. Number 99 is one you might have tried. It might be one that you might have thought about, Glass Road. It combines a lot of elements from Yui's other games. It does a lot of things interestingly. It obviously could have had maybe a little bit better execution and made it higher on my list. You are making a scenescape on a personal board. You're trying to make glass, but sometimes it's not always, it's worth points by itself, and you can make it into buildings that give you special abilities, but then those special abilities are worth points that you have to go do something else with. It borrows the mechanic that actually was given for Witch's Brew, where you are picking so many rolls at the same time as the other players, and then if you happen to pick a roll that nobody else picked, you get a extra bonus. You get to take both halves of the card. If other people pick that card, then you only get one half of it. It's still a very interesting mechanic. This game tries to implement it in another way. It uses some of the other scene or landscape efforts that some of his other games have touched upon. Not a bad one to try. It's my number 99. That's Glass Road. Number 98 is a sort of take on Rummy from way back. Goodness gracious. 2001 is the copyright date on this. Wyatt Earp, I believe this is out of print. You went around, you collect sets of wanted posters, and then once you got enough wanted posters, you collect the bounty, and then once you got so much bounty, you win the game. It was, in 2001, it was progressive. Now it might be a little bit slow, but definitely had a lot of fun playing this, especially given the theme and having folks to play it with. Wyatt Earp, my number 98. Number 97, I'll just keep stacking things, is Guildhall. Guildhall just came out a year or so ago. This is set collection, a little bit of twist where the more you get in the set before you turn it in for points gives you a better action, but then once you finally get a whole set, you have to turn it in for points. It has a deck that gives you differing bonuses based on the number of sets you turn in. It is very entertaining. There's also a full another box of this. I have not played enough with it's called Job Fair, but I can tell you Guildhall, the base set, is my number 96. And we're going to move on. Number 90. 98, 97, oh, excuse me. Get out of the way. That's number 97. Number 96 is Tortuga. This came out this past year. It's a interesting little roll selection game with dice. You check dice, and then you pick a roll that you're kind of going for and try to get the most faces. If you, over the course of your dice, you have the most faces, you get to do it first. There's a little fun thing with some islands, and if you win certain phases, you can pull, or go second, excuse me. This helps mitigate you not going first all the time. You get to pull these tiles. And then it's also got this thing about trying to score these different colored chests as they move from one island to the next. It's nice. It's light. The dice are fun, and it keeps moving along. It's Tortuga, and it's my number 96. Number 95 is a game from a few years ago, Rocketville. It's interesting in that you manage your cards. It's basically a card game with a board on it. I don't know if you can see this here. You choose different precincts that you want to count the votes in, and once those votes you tally those votes by playing cards face down and then revealing them. Of course, you have like a fake card that you can use and then pull out of a strategically out of an election, especially if it's in a group that you don't have other precincts won. It's area control plus a little bit of hand management. It's a Richard Garfield game that really kind of fell by the wayside due to another game that came out at the same time that's also on my list that we'll be getting to a lot later. But it's fun and it's entertaining, and yeah, and it's like the futuristic theme. It was done pretty well in this Avalon Hill square box. I know I'm turning around a whole bunch. That's Rocketville, my number 95. Number 94. Number 94 is an event all onto itself. It's not necessarily a groundbreaking game. This is Hotels, and you can see here, it's in a large box. I barely can fit it on the screen here. And this came out 1987 is the copyright date on this one, and I remember seeing the advertisements when I was a kid and being told this is way too expensive. So through the magic of eBay many years ago, I was able to get this one, and really it's just it's a Monopoly clone. But what it does is it has an ending spot. After a certain while, people stop. After you get down to 2 players, people stop getting money. So eventually, kind of when you get heads up in a poker tournament, eventually you're going to get to one person having all the money. But it dealt with, you had shared property lines. So you can see here, different hotels share the same portion of the street, and then you jockey to buy these little red things, which are way down there. These little red things. These are your entrances, and so that's actually how you get rent. So if you have an entrance on your side of the street, then you collect for your hotel there. And you collect based on everything that's been built on. And so, of course, too, you have a main building, you have these little extensions, you also have pools you can build. This is really a feast for the eyes, and it's been recently, I'm not the only one who remembered this, it's been recently reprinted as Hotel Tycoon. I don't think it's in as large of a box, maybe they shrunk the scale down on this, but still, it's a fun experience. It's hotels. not 94. 93 is more recent. It's Ninjato. This is an interesting game where you raid different dojos based on either strength or skill. And so basically it's the idea of you're going to say, okay, I've got a set of cards, and either I'm going to exceed all of the defender's strengths, or I'm going to be below all the defender's strengths. And so you get to look at your cards and figure out which one you're going to pick. And it can be it's actually pretty neat. Once you include, there's some skills you can get to help you manipulate your way through the dojos, and you get treasure tokens, and then they also got a thing with trying to influence magistrates with these treasure tokens. So it's got a few things going on. Didn't get a lot of attention when it came out. This is Ninjato Z-Man Games, my number 93. Number 92 is one that probably is on people's lists much higher. It's King of Tokyo. It's a Yahtzee variant. You're going around trying to either take over Tokyo and damage other players, or you're trying to get victory points straight out, or you're trying to get energy in order to get super skills that will help you do the first two things much more easily and more effectively. And you know, again, it does what it does very well. It's entertaining. I haven't gotten as many plays of this, but it is a solid game. Richard Garfield, King of Tokyo, my number 92. And then 91, and the last one for this set, is the original Reiner Knizia Lord of the Rings. And this had many different expansions that actually added a lot, but this really introduced a lot of cooperative themes that you see a lot now in modern games. This had shared deck, and also with one of the expansions allowed one player to play as Sauron, which actually was kind of a very fun experience if you ever get to do that. I did that once, and it's fun, even win or lose. It's fun taking on that role. So there's actually a one ring inside here. You know, people would have fun putting that on and playing with it. It was not always the easiest of things, and then two, it didn't have sort of an alpha problem. You had more of a, well, how are we going to manage this? What do you feel like? I don't feel like taking the hits. All the things you like to get out of cooperative games, but not more of the group puzzle solving aspect. So there you go. That's 10 games down, 90 to go. Thanks for sticking through it. I hope to see you next time. Thanks again for watching. God bless. See you next time.